And I decided like today we have to do it together, and you can see how we are roasting our soya. Most of the I have ever heard a lot of complaints when people complain that the roasting soya direct on the heat like this reduce protein content inside it, and I say I say no. Why? Because reducing protein content when you're roasting soya, it is on how well you balance the heat and down there. So that means that uh, those who say that it means that if you put the stove here and the saucepan on and you put soya in and you're roasting direct to the heat, and you doesn't balance the heat, you just put on and go. That means that the soya is going to be overheated, and then you will reduce the protein inside it. But if you roast it and you make sure that you are there, you balance the heat, you change, you continue changing it, that means that the soya is going to be well cooked and it is going to work for you efficiently. Uh, those There are some also who prefer steaming. Steaming it's also better because you cannot the soya cannot get overheated and cannot get but the problem can get underheated, and you doesn't kill the trypsin inhibitor well. And what I comment and the problem I found with steaming is one. When you're steaming and you're doing the commercial poultry production, or you are just doing the commercial poultry feed production, it means that the soya that has been steamed cannot be kept for more than 2 weeks. And if you keep for more than 2 weeks, because the cotyledons of the soya are able to absorb the water and retain the water, it is going to get aflatoxins, and which is poison to our chickens and our animals. So that's why I recommend that roasting or toasting is the best way to treat the soya. Because if I toast it or I roast it in this way, I can even keep it for a month before using it. And that is why I prefer this, because doesn't interfere with durability. Another thing I prefer with this system is that uh, you monitor, you know how well it is cooked, you balance the heat. And some of the people will say that, how do I balance the heat? I make sure that I doesn't put a lot of charcoal inside it. As you can see, we are doing it naturally. We are using charcoal, and those who are in America, those who are in Canada, those who are in South Africa, who doesn't know the charcoal is, I meaning we are using coal. It's coal, or in our English here in Uganda, we call it charcoal. So, and we are just using that, and because we doesn't, like you can see, we doesn't have access to electricity, and we cannot toast this using electricity. And those who have access to companies, those who have access to companies which mill or which extract the soya oil, you can just place your orders and they give you the residues of that soya oil as the soybean soybean meal, and that will also work for you better because they use some certain temperature to extract that oil, and that heat also kills the trypsin inhibitor inside the soybean meal. Most of you will ask yourself that, what is the dangers of the trypsin inhibitor and why do we lose the soya at this extent? Uh, Trypsin inhibitor inside the soybean meal, inside the soybean, prevent the protein from being digested, and it also stops other protein foods that you have eaten from being digested, and that is the very problem we incur with that trypsin inhibitor. And that trypsin, because in the poultry we are targeting the protein so that we can get our maximum production, and it's a must that we treat it and we prevent that trypsin inhibitor, because we want the protein which we are giving to our birds to get digested and we get the maximum output. Then other people will say that now, how are you able to know that it's ready for ready to be consumed, or how long do you take to roast this soybean meal? This soybean, because we lost it here, and we doesn't have any other measurement except that we say what is safe for people to consume, it is also safe for birds to consume. And we test it by eating on it. Because the moment we are toasting it like this, and you just get some chew and eat some. And you make sure that the more you see that the more you taste that it's ready for you to eat, it will be also ready for chickens to eat. And some will say that relatively how long can it take to get ready? And that is thing that most of you are just complaining of. Uh, this soybean, it will take a relatively 1 hour on this seed to get ready and be safe for chickens to eat. It can take a few hours, less than an hour, or more than an hour, depending on the heat that is inside under the saucepan. And other people have the complaint that how how can we lost, and I can say like you're losting the rate it's few. So if you're doing the commercial production and you want to lost the soil like this, uh you can design, if you go to the Juakaris, they can design for you. It's like the DIY is the drum which you can keep rotate. They can put a handle for you and you keep rotating it, and you put the heat under, so that and then you catch it at least for 1 hour. Then after 1 hour you can test, you can just remove some and eat on that, to test whether it's ready, and that will be safe for you to consume. Because I know that the like me here at my level, I can be able to lost the 15 kgs per hour. Every hour I can be able to lose 15 kgs, because I can be able to take care of almost 2 saucepans like this. And if you do that drum heating almost takes 25 kgs. You can see it relatively bigger, the bigger amounts. And almost in a day, I can be able to roast almost more than 100 kgs. And if you're using that Juakadis, in a day, you can be able to roast more than 200 to 300 kgs. So that will be relatively higher, and you will stand a safer side. So, and the other people say that, why is it soya? Doesn't we have other plants that can be roasted like in the same way like soya? I say yes. Why? Because I know that all the legumes have this problem of trypsin inhibitor, except peas. Peas are the ones which you not need to decorticate in this way. Instead, like the peas, you can just put in them in the water for overnight, and then after that, they can dry them and smash, and then they're safe for chickens to eat. And those who are using nuts, ground nuts have the same trypsin inhibitor like soya. That is why I said like you have to decodicate, or to have to lost it. Decodicating, I'm sorry to use that biological term, because decodicating is the same way like losting, yeah, or removing something that is unwanted. That is the meaning of decodicating. So it have